What if I told you that some of your daily habits, the little things you do without even thinking, might be the very walls holding you back from becoming rich? Today, we're going to dig into those habits, and more importantly, we're going to talk about how to swap them out for habits that actually build wealth. Okay, before we even get into the numbers and the money, we have to start right here, inside your head. This first set of habits is all about rewiring your brain for wealth, because honestly, your mindset is the foundation for absolutely everything else. So habit number 9, and this one is so crucial. You have got to stop waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. Think about this story of two potters. So you have Ram. He wants to make the perfect pot on his very first attempt. The clay collapses, and so does his spirit. He just quits. But then you have Sham. His first pot fails too. But you know what he does? He tries again and again. And by the end of the day, he's made 15 pots. Now, was that final pot perfect? No way. But it was 100 times better than his first try. Action and just doing it again and again will always beat sitting around waiting for perfection. Now, check this out, because it applies so directly to our goals. You've got Soham, who says, "I love you." Okay, it's nice, but it's kind of vague, right? But then there's Aditya. He gets specific. He explains why he loves her. "Your smile erases all my tension." Now, which proposal do you think is more powerful? It's the same with your money. "I want to be rich" is just like Soham. It's a nice thought. But "I want to have an investment portfolio of X amount by this date by saving Z every single month." Now that's Aditya. Specificity is what gets results. All right, this next habit, number 7, is about who you hang out with, and maybe more importantly, what you talk about. Just take a second and be really honest with yourself. When you get together with your friends, what's the conversation about? Are you kicking around new ideas, talking about opportunities, ways to grow, or does it just drift into gossip and cheap entertainment? You attract what you focus on. It's that simple. If you're always talking about growth, guess what you're going to attract? Growth. Okay, so with our mindset starting to get in the right place, let's get practical. Let's talk about the real nuts and bolts. This next batch of habits is all about how you handle your money day in and day out. This is where that foundation we just built really gets put to the test. This one's personal for me. When my friends and I first started earning real money, most of them immediately upgraded everything. New cars, big parties, expensive clothes. But 3 of us, we did the exact opposite. For 6 solid years, almost every rupee we earned went straight into savings and investments. And the difference after those 6 years was just staggering. The 3 of us were financially free. Our other friends, well, a lot of them were stuck, trapped under the weight of the loans they took out for that lifestyle. The lesson is so simple. Pay your future self first. And that leads right into this next one. A bit of a cautionary tale, really. I had a friend who got big on YouTube. And the second that money started rolling in, he went out and bought a BMW, then a Rolex, all of it on credit. He wanted to look rich. But about 6 months later, his channel's income took a dip. The loan payments, though, they didn't dip. And pretty soon, both the car and the watch were gone. It was a tough lesson, but a powerful one. Looking rich and actually being rich are 2 totally different things. So, how do you avoid that trap? It's actually really simple. You just have to build in a little cooling off period. When you get that sudden urge to buy something you don't absolutely need, don't tell yourself no. Just tell yourself, not yet. Give it 24 hours. And during those 24 hours, you ask yourself 3 simple but critical questions. First, is this item absolutely necessary, like right now? Second, is this thing an asset? Is it going to make me money? Or is it a liability? Is it going to cost me money? And third, is buying this going to add the stress of a loan to my life? This little process is like a filter that separates what you truly need from what you just want in the moment. This brings us to a super important habit, always thinking about the return on investment, or ROI. So let's say you've got 20 lakh rupees. Option 1, you buy a plot of land. Over time, that land's value goes up, maybe it even doubles. That's a positive ROI. Option 2, you buy a fancy luxury car for the same price. It gives you 0 financial return. In fact, it actively costs you more money every single month in gas, insurance, service. Before every big purchase, just ask yourself, what is the ROI on this? Is it putting money into my pocket, or is it taking it out? All right, so we've covered mindset and managing our money. Those are mostly defensive moves, right? They're about protecting what you have. Now it's time to go on offense. These last few habits are all about actively and intentionally going out and creating wealth. I was on a train just the other day, and I looked around the car. almost every single person was just mindlessly scrolling through social media reels, just consuming, consuming, consuming. Now look, there's nothing wrong with a little entertainment, but here's the truth. Wealth isn't built by consuming, it's built by creating. Every hour you spend watching someone else's content is an hour you could have been creating your own value to share with the world. And if you think that's a bit of an exaggeration, just look at this number. According to one study, the average person in India spends over 4 hours a day on their phone. 4 hours. You know what that adds up to? 5 full days. Every single month. Just gone. Imagine what you could build, what you could learn, what you could create with 5 extra days a month. Time is your most valuable asset. Are you just consuming it, or are you investing it? This next offensive play isn't about money. It's about people. We all know a Rohit, right? He's the guy who only calls you when he needs something. Every relationship is a transaction. But then you've got Ashok. Ashok calls just to see how you're doing. He remembers your birthday. He's investing in the relationship with zero expectation of an immediate return. Now, who are you more likely to help out? True networking isn't about collecting contacts on your phone. It's about building real, genuine relationships. It's about giving value first. And that leads to our final offensive strategy, habit number 3. Don't rely on a single paycheck. When I started my coaching business, I immediately took that new income and invested it to create a second stream. Then a year later, I bought a property. That was stream number 3. 6 months after that, I started doing seminars. There's number 4. In the world we live in today, creating new income streams is easier than it has ever been. So what's the goal? Try to create a new one every 6 months. That's what gives you real security, and that's what accelerates your wealth. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground. We've talked mindset, managing money, building wealth. But just listening to this, well, it's not enough. Knowledge is useless without action. The gap between where you are today and where you want to be is bridged by just one thing: taking action. So let's bring this all the way back to where we started, with our potter, Shyam. Remember, his last pot of the day? It wasn't a masterpiece, it wasn't perfect, but it was real, it existed, and it was 100 times better than the perfect pot that Ram only ever dreamed about making. Progress will always beat perfection. Always. And so, I'm going to leave you with this one final question. We know perfection is a myth. It's just an excuse that keeps us from starting. So, what is one small, imperfect step you can take today, right now, to start putting one of these habits into practice? Your journey to wealth doesn't start tomorrow. It starts with that one simple, imperfect step.